Hello everybody, welcome to another day of Cosmoteer. Today we're going to be looking at a whole lot of ships, or as many ships as we possibly can, in Discord, because a lot of people have put in a lot of different ships. So, I think the first for things that we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to come over here, do more, and I do apologize if I cough, or if you have a lot of background noise. I've been sick of recently, so that is one of my biggest issues. Now, one of the first things I think we're going to go ahead is we're going to go ahead and look at Silver's ship, at least one of his ships. And let's go ahead and put it in here. Now, these are the first time I'm actually even looking at these in full. I haven't even had the time. I've been sick.
I fell in a little mountain down the concrete.
You fell on the concrete?
The mountain.
You're healing good.
I go fast. I climbed down the mountain fast and I dropped on the concrete when I do that.
Okay.
And then I dropped on the mountain to the concrete.
Oh, okay. Well, we have yeah, my kid's saying that he fell the other day and fell on some concrete and bumped his head. This is interesting. That's a nuke station, isn't it? This is a nuke. This is a ship that has lots of nukes. That's what that is. Why did a power issue come up on it? Let's take a look at this. All right. Nice walkways in and out. That looks good. I guess the bigger question is, since I'm just looking at this for the first time, I like the design for a nuke type of ship. Just want to see how fast it flies. Oh, it's got good speed. 105. All right. What about its turning ability? Pretty neat, pretty neat. Let's go ahead and let's save the ship. Let's come over here. We're already in new folder number 7. So let's take a look at our new number 7. New number 7. Let's put Nukem in there. This is Silver Ship. Let's load it in. Face it versus each other, 867. Actually, I could face this versus another ship that's also in the 800 range. Let's take a look at this. Just want to see how these nukes fire. Very neat. Wonder if you can stagger fire them, right? Alright, here's the real question. Since it's 835,000 ship, face it against another ship that's around the same cost, a little bit more crew. This is the big test. Can this nuke ship... obviously, the AI is not going to... I think he even mentioned back in Discord, AI doesn't control the ship well. This would be a flank and hit him type of ship. But I just wanted to see his defenses and see how it would do against this. Now, obviously, you would want the ship to do on its own. So, the real test would be to repair the ship like this, right? Come over here, take this ship right here, load it in, just like this. Unpause the game. I'm controlling the ship now, and come over here and do this, and then do a flyby-ish, kind of like this. I don't know how you would do it. I would self-control it. Do a control. I think it's a control D. And try to go full speed. Fly around. Can this even work this way? I don't even know how to do it. Have the AI try to do its thing. Now see, I can outrun the ship if I'm self-controlling it. Kind of like this. Let the nukes repopulate. Come over here. I don't know how to do the AI targeting. Do this. Control D again. Trying to fire them off. I think they fired off in weird directions. Trying to do a self-control. I'm not good at self-controlling ships, so not a good test. But you can see it can outrun. It can turn. Excuse me. I kind of like it. It's a cool little nuke ship. Does a whole bunch of different type of things, so that's kind of neat. Let's move on. Let's go to the next ship. Right here. What is this, Stalker? Oh, he was trying to build a whole bunch of different faction type of ships. So this is kind of like a... I'm actually interested in how this would work. Alright, you go away. Let me reload another Stalker in here. It's kind of neat. Save the ship. Let's put the ship in here. I don't know what to do with that nuke ship. Nukes are not something I play with so very often. But what would be interesting is if you get a whole bunch of your Stalkers. Because that's the only way I would see this even possibly maybe work. Hello, Zonskool. And welcome. Alright. Let's see these mining lasers at work. Were you trying to make these ramming ships? What is their attack distance? I think you were trying to make these ramming ships. Ramming laser ships. Kind of cute. Interesting design. Here's the thing about this nuke ship that I'm already noticing. You get this big burst of damage, right? And then it just stops. And then if the nuke misses, you see how it just missed because you were so close? Then nukes can be, see how they're missing? So if a ship is literally this close to your nuke ship, then you have that problem too. So a ramming ship would totally demolish this nuke. See, look at all the nukes they're missing. Just flying off into nowhere. So a little tiny ramming ship like this could... And now that I'm thinking about this, I've never noticed that. If you literally have this tiny little itty bitty ramming ship versus just a pure nuke ship, you stand this huge event, look, not a single nuke is hitting it. And that's kind of neat. I don't know if anybody's ever noticed that. That's kind of neat. Alright. I don't know what to do with a 3 mining laser ship. There's not much I can do with that. Let's take a look at this next ship. Let's save this one. Twin Blade. Excuse me if I cough and interrupt a little bit. Alright, so Twin Blade. Oh, I think I already saved it. I'm interested. Let's do a Twin Blade versus... let's do Nukem. Let's do 2 Twin Blades. Let's just see how this is. Okay, 2 Twin Blades. It flips itself around. Doesn't look like your point defenses do anything versus nukes. And then after it flips itself around, I guess Twin Blade is kind of like a switchblade. You have no other thrust. Very interesting design. And then these power plants. If you're gonna have these power capacitors here, you might as well move them out. Sorry. I know maybe aesthetically, but really, and then add like another here like this. Like, why are they walking through the whole thing? And then you could add something else there. And this way, this still supports that, right? That's what I would suggest doing. Here, that's the edit I would suggest doing. I didn't even check to see if there's dedications. There are none there. Any dedications here? Okay. Hold on. Let me save this. Save this as 1.1. Because, and I just want to double check this. What is a 1 to 1.1? Did you have dedications? Because if you did, or at least you should, because otherwise they're going to grab power from anywhere. Hold on, let me double check this again. No power, dedication, standard. Okay, so if you're going to do this, even this right here, this should be dedicated so that you have power to come into this one. Because capacitors just kind of work that way. They're kind of silly. And then I'm going to assume that these capacitors right here should be for this. And that way, if you do this and you save that, and then reload it back in, you should notice some difference. Obviously, I messed up the paint design and whatnot, but what should happen here now is you see the dedications for the power to here, there to there, and I'm just looking at how you have. Well, it kind of just both blew up from all the nukes, but you get the kind of idea. Actually, here I need to change this as well. I also notice you have a power capacitor here. Is this to support this or is it to support this? Actually, you know what? Let me get rid of this. I want to delete. I want to delete that. That was wrong. And then this, because then this is just going to power all of them. And then these can be like this. I'm guessing. That way people are not, these capacitors are not running all around the ship. And these are just dedicated to those. So that should be better. And then they can grab power wherever they want to grab. That should be... Obviously this nuke one's not a good fair battle versus it. Let's try that. Switches around. They don't even get in distance. See, they have no forward thrust once they flip around. Or reverse thrust, or however you want to be it. So it's kind of a... You lost maneuverability. And it literally has to flip around just to fire. It's cool and all, but... kind of an interesting type of concept. Here, let me just show you the difference between movement and everything else. It's a cool ship, but if you take another ship that's even close to... I'm actually interested. I'm pretty sure your ship may still win just due to size and firepower on it. Maybe. But if you take maneuverability and everything else on a ship, and if I were to actually sideways swipe this, see how I'm able to dodge? In a sense. And if I move some more, if I control the ship, I could dodge some more. Look at that. Movement is king. So, yeah. All right. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Fix it. Put some more boosters on this one. Change it up a little bit. I think you'll have a little bit better time there, Silver. All right. Let's move on to. I know Zonsko will join us. Let's do Zonsko. Zonko, are you still here with us? He has built or been playing the game for the first time on career mode. And I don't even know which one to start with because I don't remember which one's the first one. So we're just going to pull in one of the smallest ones. Take a look at it. Cool first design. Maybe, I don't even know if this was the first design, but pretty cool design. Main battleship. This. I do know the one with the bumper is the most. You see how somebody said that your lasers might not be best utilized? A little bit more spacing would help that out, which I'm sure that you already fixed, because a lot of people were giving suggestions in Discord on what can fix and what can be changed. Still, I like it. I like how you have all these different shields. I like how you have the walkways. I'm kind of looking to see how they're placed right now. That's a pretty cool design. You do have a double slow up right here for when people are trying to cross this way. It's okay for them to go backwards, but for when they go out, you could just change those walkways just a little bit. And then you have these guys in the back. Interesting. That's interesting right there. Let's save this. It's an interesting design. I'm kind of interested what's the cost on this thing. 355,000. Alright, the 355,000 ship. Let's bring in another one of his versions, because I'm sure this is not the actual done one. Because he went up many versions. You had the Model L. Let's just bring in another one. This one looks like very similar. Maybe paint difference. That one's this one. And then you had different modifications. There's a Model L. This is probably one of the first ones, wasn't it? Where you didn't have everything with just a lot of cargo space. No mining laser. Tons of cargo space. This would take forever. How do they access back here? Probably mods so you have extra doors or something? Alright, what about this one? This one looks more fleshed out. Honestly, I would flip these around. This is such an interesting concept. Does this even work? A hatch with the cargo, hatch with the cargo? I mean, hatch door with the... Does that work? I don't know if this works. Actually, I'm kind of interested to see if this even works. It's such a strange concept that I just have to see. What happens when they face each other? Do these guys actually come out of these and fly to the other part of the ship, wherever the next hatch is over here? Or do they stay in their bunkers the whole time and do nothing? Right, they do nothing there. These guys do nothing there. Okay. I don't think this works. For whatever reason these are here for. Look, all these guys are moving, but these guys, they weren't moving. Yeah, these guys not moving. So I don't think this works during combat. Maybe it works for like mining and stuff, but I don't see why you have this here. It's interesting. Okay, it was just for a test. Okay, well, let's move on to a more recent ship. I know you went over here. Let's come to version 2. You start adding in cannons. Alright, version 2. This is what we were discussing in Discord, and we made the comment that... Let's take in this cannon ship and take a look to see what it can do. Alright, first I'm looking at the insides. Remember how I was saying the middle's weaker? Even your older ship beats. Even your older ship beats that cannon ship. Because you just made the middle way too weak. Let's just go to version 5. Alright, let's see how version 5 does. Say version 5. No, I named that one, but I didn't actually rename the other one. So, version 5. Okay. Feels like there's more shields, actually. The AR does try to target a little bit different with that. Takes up the sides. And your old ship still beats your new cannon ship. See the weakness? So, big concern there if you're still using that one. Let's come over here to this one with the bumper. Ooh, lots of armor. I think this is the one where Hostep gave you the suggestion to put more armor in the middle. I think it just overrode another ship, but that's okay. Let's take in this new one with this one. Let's take a look at this. Alright, bumper, amazing, I like it. And if you wanted to, this is where I was saying you can put cannons over here on the sides. That way you don't weaken your middle. Because your middle right here, this is your core. Now, what you see how slow and they're not powering this? This is all about just about role dedication. And then you have these guys back here doing what? shields exactly? Okay, operators. You have your power distributors. You literally don't have enough power distributors for the amount of shields and everything else you have. Ton of operators, but you don't need that many operators. So what I would suggest doing here is changing that to power distributors. Now you have more guys, operators moving around, but that would be a little bit better. Fix this right here. Change your power operators right here. And make sure that they have, okay, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. Okay, that will still work. Come over here, save the ship design to another main Battleship. That's fine. Restart this. Okay. Let's take a look at this again. Now you have double the power distributors up here. All your operators are, you only have one operator sitting around, which is just fine. Now you have people running around, but you see their shields? They're not powering the shields, which I would actually probably take at least 2 crew members, because you see how much damage you're taking. Even if you were to change it like this, this would be better. Living longer is better than doing more damage in this small little case. Just do 8 right there. Repair this. Save this. The shield shouldn't stay down that long. Now when you have literally 24 on the front, power distributor, your power distributor's back here too, but what should happen here is you see this? Now your shield should be supplied, and your laser should still work too, in theory. And in turn we may want to add dedication. Now you see this right here, this cross back and forth? This big piece of armor slowing your entire power, but you took a lot less damage. So all you're gonna do right here, just to speed things up, is you take out this just like this. Hold on, let me look at these walkways. This is a little goofy. That alone, just that one little piece of armor will speed everything up. I kind of don't like... We'll leave the walkways as is. I see how you're trying to... But you see the speed back and forth? Alright, let's try this one more time. Okay, now you have free open space. Your doors, this goes up like that, like that. It's better already. Yeah, better. Okay, I would do one more change right here to power distributors. Just would change the shields. I would actually do your disruptors be less. These should be 8 too. So heavy lasers should be 8. Disruptors should be 8. Let's come over here. Let's save the ship design one more time. Check it one more time. That way you fix that. Does that make sense? Sounds cool? See that fix? All of a sudden everything just functions a little bit better. And you still have one operator sitting in the bug, but you don't have lots of operators sitting in the bug. Now you have your main lasers to do damage. They are firing. Your disruptors are not so key. And all of a sudden, your ship's performing just a little bit, tiny bit better. Okay? You may want to fix this armor issue that you have here still too. But honestly, you could even layer stack this and pull these 2 shields back. Even just one step. This is what I would do. I won't even do this. Shields are actually better if they're all multi-layered off. And then you have it up, you have a cross. Okay, so they up, you can put another door right there. This is kind of a hot mess in my mind. So you up, around, down. Okay, it makes sense. I don't know. That's what I would do. And I would literally, hold on. And then you would take 2 more pieces of armor, stick it right there, just like that. And save it, just like this. There you go. So that way, your armor is a little bit better. These shields will go first, and these ones are closer, and then they will support that better too. So they come out, so then I see how they're supporting this, and then see how your shields are layer stacked? It protects your armor so much better, and it gives you more time to protect. So when you layer stack your shield, see how these are offset? It's actually better to offset instead of all being on the same row. And you see that? You took a lot less damage, and all I did was position your shields just one step back. But you see how much better that did for this? So, huge improvements. Anyways, I think that's good for those. We're not gonna hit on all the other battleships. I like all your different paint designs. I like how you're doing career mode. Let's go and take a look at your transport ships. Won't spend too much time on these, but we're just gonna take a peek at them. I'm really curious to see how this thing flies, honestly. It's kind of slow. That's just what I'm gonna say. Clear everything off. Not giving it a fair chance. Alright, that's that one. Let's look at version 1. I like the paint job. Paint job's cool. Really curious to see how fast this thing flies. Interesting. Are there walkways down the whole thing? Okay, there are. Okay. One tiny comment. Just because the in and outs over here. Since your hatches are over here, I don't know why you have two hatches there. Your door should be closer to your hatches. Okay? If anything, I know it's slow and everything, but if you're gonna do anything, the closer your door. Is this symmetrical? Okay, it is. It may seem like a small thing, but if you're gonna put doors, always closest to your hatches. That's what I would. I don't even know why I'm changing this when you have a version 2. Hold on. Let's take your newest version. Maybe you already fixed that. And you did. Okay, you already did it. Good job, good job. This... Okay. This... I guess that's okay, actually. I would have put the hatch maybe here, face it this way, but... I guess it's okay. Because it's closer to the crew, can easily come out and just jump in. Interesting, interesting, interesting. You already moved all the doors closer. Alright, you already did. See, you already did it yourself. You didn't even need me to tell you. You did it yourself. Good job, Zon School. You do have a little extra doors here for all of these, but it's an interesting design. One thing about your transport ship as you go through career mode, you probably want more crew. And since this has no defense, you see all this armor? Makes it look cool, but there's a lot of extra weight. What I mean by that is here, look, when you're flying, see how far I think this thing flies at full speed. Go far distance. You'll notice that my transport ship has no armor. The armor is just there to make you look cool, but as a pure transport ship, this is all just weight. You see here, you fly at 39.4. Now, if you're gonna just sit time and watch the game and watch people just fly, yeah, sure. But if you really want to utilize it for its best optimization, you literally just have to come over here and just go. Just. Just do that. This is a lot of extra weight. Watch what happens when you remove all this dead weight. Now, if you expect it to be in combat, then that's a whole nother story. But if it's going to be in combat, it has no way to really defend itself. Right? Watch this. Look how fast it flies down. Oh, you're really talking about speed. That's a definitely decent amount of speed for the type of ship it is. It's just a transport ship. It doesn't need armor. Unless you plan for it to engage in combat for whatever reason. Now, if you're going to outrun enemy ships, especially at higher levels, you're going to want to at least go 90 or higher. So 75 is still good, but all you got to do is add in a couple more engine rooms, a couple more crew, because that's what a transport ship should have, is more crew instead of just 44, to help supply your actual battleships. And this would be a really decent transport ship, in my own personal opinion. Now, I'm not going to really change that too much, because you can see all I did was just strip off all the armor, and you see how fast it flies. So, pretty cool, right? You can think on that. Obviously, I messed up your paint design when I did that, and it doesn't look anything like that, but you don't need the armor on a transport ship unless you're going to put weapons on it. You don't want one straight shot to blow it up. That's why you just need speed. If you're moving at 90 or more, and as long as you're watching the game, your transport ship should probably never engage. So as long as you're moving at 90 meters per second or higher, you can outrun. You can outrun almost all ships with your transport ship. You just need a couple more boosters, and then you just watch it, and then you'll never get the stray shot in. Compared to if you add a whole bunch of armor on there, it slows it down, and then you will get shot because you have your armor on there and you can't run away. So something to think about. Let's move on to Legacy Ship. He called this one a Oompa Loompa. Holy molies. You know what? Here. You can decide on this yourself. I'm going to save your ship. I'm just going to call this a 1.1 because I made changes to it. When I get you that version, when I get to it. And then what I actually need to do too here, because I never actually gave this a name because I'm going to forget. Well, let's save this ship. We'll call this a 1.1, so I'll make sure I get you that one too. Alright, let's go back to the Oompa Loompa. Oompa Loompa! What is this really interesting, cool? It kind of actually makes me think of a pumpkin with a big mouth. But Legacy, really interesting, neat. Hold on, I know this would cost a whole lot more. It turns slow. It looks neat. It does a lot of damage. I would fix this right here because you see how the lasers are not shooting in and out. Hold on, we need to save this. What? I know its name is Virtue, but I think he called it a... Did he call it a Oompa Loompa? I need to go look through Discord again. 180. A lot in here. I just want to test it versus. Well, your Oompa Loompa, which should... Just looking at it based on its cannons. So 6 cannon ship. Point defenses are not enough to handle the amount of projectiles I'm throwing at you with this ship. Or at least on the sides. We're looking at weak points. So the lasers right there, you see how they're stacked so much? They're not fully, see how this laser is not enough out? See how it's not even shooting? So this laser right here, useless. See, doesn't even shoot. Even though it looks like it can, if anything, it only shoots 1. So you need to fix that. That's kind of neat. I would expect it to win because it has so much more armor and it is slower. I mean, a really interesting placement of armor there. But there's a few things you can optimize and fix just as there's a pointing them out. So all you gotta do here to make it even better. Let's do it right now. See this? Why is this one back? This needs to be one more out in order for that to utilize. This right here to shoot out the armor. You see this right here? It's blocking this shot from here to shooting out because they actually angle a little bit more. So you gotta shave off a little bit there if you want to utilize the full power to that. Before I do this, I want to see if there's dedications. There are not there. I don't see any there. Okay. So just fix that laser right there. Go one up. This could be up and down. See how he does that. It's interesting. That should be a 1 up, and then that can fire that way. Yeah, there's large shield there. Shield pivots are very interesting. Very interesting indeed. Now this right here, takes too long for them to supply again. But I see why and how you're doing that. So we're gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna need to watch it again to see how it's a very interesting design. I think it's kind of cool and neat actually. Let's resave the Oompa Loompa. Put it in the right place. I know I keep calling it Oompa Loompa, but I think that's what he called it. Anybody feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. Alright, Oompa Loompa. 1.1. Okay, let's watch this. I still haven't shaved the armor off yet, but I want to make sure to see this? Now the lasers are firing in full. But the armor shaving still needs to happen. See right here? See? See how it's hitting the armor? You gotta shave it just a tiny bit. Surprisingly, those are firing. But you might need more point defenses. Like if you put more point defenses, you take even less damage from everything I'm firing at you. These are always red. I like your cannons and how your cannons are placed. They're doing a lot. Look at this. Out of power. See that? Out of power. See this? You have too much coming up right here. So your engines on the end, wasted. See, this whole engine room is out of power. There's not enough people. So to fix that, if you had, hold on, you need to fix that. That's kind of goofy to me. Can this go one? I can't go. Can this go one down? That's kind of what you need space for them to walk. And I know you have one way in and one way back out. But if you could, you should do capacitor. Capacitor supplies the engine room. People only supply to the capacitor. But that's not symmetrical. So if you want to put that there, go round, no. But then you don't have the crew for. That's a mess. I'm still trying to think of how to fix. Definitely recommend fixing it, but with the one way in like this and the one way out like this, the only other way to fix it without changing all the armor and everything else is instead, these are res. You have. Oh no, that definitely would mess that up. Cancel that. I need to come over here and take another red shirt and copy the roll and replace it. No. Do a new roll. Do a new roll. We're just gonna make these guys orange. Sorry. Drop priorities. Just wipe these all out. Set these all to defaults. Come over here to engines. You'll be supply battery. Those two guys right there. And then these two right here. You guys will just be dedicated for that. That way you have runners. And look at this. You see how they're... Well, we'll see this. Hold on. Repair R. Save this as Virtue 2. Oompa Loompa 2. Right? Bring in Oompa Loompa number 2. Trying to fix these engine rooms on the end. So now we have 4 guys dedicated just for running on the outside. I still haven't shaved off the armor yet. See, you just have to shave just a tiny bit. See right there? See the lasers hit your own armor? Wasted shots. Just gonna shave off just a tiny, tiny hair of armor. We're watching these engines right here. You still have out of power problems on these two engine rooms. But your outside engine rooms are ready, so you actually need more crew back here. With the way this is designed, and or you make it so that there's free range walkways, because you see how the slowdown comes from there to there? It's too far. So you don't have enough. Unless we do this. Guys, be dedicated just to those two. Give that a shot. Resave this as Oompa Loompa number 2. Shave off this armor because that's driving me crazy. And then refix this. Single pieces. We probably should just do this. And even if we were to do something like this, it still gives you closer to the armor. But now you've shaved off. I'm actually gonna do this. And then this right here should be... Let's just wipe that off. That way you have that full angle. Alright. I know it doesn't look as nice to whatever his Oompa Loompa was supposed to look like, but we're trying to utilize, see how they're angled just a little bit more? You don't want ever your lasers to hit your own armor for any reason. So you just fix that, and then this out laser is shooting from there. Your back engines, will they run out of power or not? Which is a tiny fix in dedications. Almost. So one engine goes out of power with the current setup. One engine. At least you still have keep most of your maneuverability. It doesn't go out for long, but it still goes out. Now we just fixed a little bit of the back, fixed a little bit on the front. I love these fire extinguishers next to this. Makes perfect sense to me. I'm sure there's more to fix on it. We're gonna move on to another ship though. Overall, it's kind of a really neat idea. Engine room's still running out of power. It should totally just... I'm sorry, I have to mess with you. You need more crew back here. Even if this were to move up like this... No, I wouldn't. Even if you layer stacked it, that could work. This is just the idea, right? Take this and you could do something like this. Give yourself a little bit more, right? You have at least more crew back here. Even if you did something like this. And or if you needed to, you could have more. Could. Right, that gives you more crew back there. Because by the time they even get this far in, your ship's gonna be gone anyways. Like you could do something like that and then you'd have enough crew for your engines back there. So that's an idea. I don't think I'm gonna do it. I'm just showing you that's probably a decent idea. I would fix these some way. But we're gonna leave that as is. Legacy, if you join, feel free to look it over and decide what you want to change and whatnot. Hopefully I pointed out a few things so that you can look at it, decide what you want to do with it. Alright. We're gonna save whole ship for last. Just got way too many ships. I don't even think I can cover it today. All fighter. All fighter. You remember his ship. Let's clear all this out. Let me get some water before I go all nuts here. Alright, all fighter. He went away and threw off his paint design because he just made so many changes. He was just said, just forget about it. For right now, his new ship, which I don't even know the huge difference until we face it versus each other. At first glance. This was a big, massive ship. It's a lot to take in, so let's go find this other ship. Here it is. Let's take the last one we modified and let's face it versus each other. See, here was his paint design, everything. Okay, so he added 2 more cannons, so instead of just 4, he's got 6 cannons. See all the point defenses I added on this? It's actually making a huge impact. See the point defenses? It's making a huge impact. Now, I like his new design. What was the cost difference on these two actually? 6 cannons versus 2 cannons. The point defenses are still at it. But I like how he has so much more armor. I like the 6 cannons that they're going. Frontal shields and armor are great. Still wins. What's the cost difference still? Not even that much more. 200,000 more. So, a great new design. I like it. Hey, hope you're feeling better. My throat's still all messed up, Wally, but thanks for asking. I can talk at least. Maybe I'll feel much worse tomorrow, but let's hope not. Yeah. All fighters, new ship. I like it. Me personally, I just add a tiny bit more point defenses because when you're surfacing, but I don't know, you don't need it. Here's the real question. Does your new ship beat, or can it stand, do you remember, a Polaris? Can you beat a Polaris in a 1v1 AI fight? That is the challenge you should, when you're in the 1,300,000, can you beat a Polaris? Because if you can, then you know you get a really good ship. We see all the missiles coming at you? This is where those point defenses, because at the higher level, the AIs, they got a ton of missiles or a ton of something coming at you. And you see this weak point right here? Without the point defenses, you just got shredded. So, something to think about, All Fighter. Now, in a front-to-front battle, your ship's amazing. I'm gonna admit that, All Fighter. But when you're fighting against it, this is an in-game ship, the Polaris. If you can't 1v1 AI a Polaris, then you'll have a few defensive issues here and there. So something to think about, right? You just see this? And the Polaris didn't take that much damage in a front-to-front assault. And it just ripped out this other ship. So there's something to think about when you're getting into those cost ranges. I'm just talking about cost, right? You're already at 1,400,000. This is 1,300,000. And cost-wise, the Polaris is more effective in that sense. If you're looking to see who's more effective in a 1v1 battle. Obviously, if you had more of your ships versus this one, and you were flying your own ship and not having the AI do it, big difference. So, we're gonna leave that as, I mean, if I were to take time to look at this, I'm sure there's a few tweaks here and there we can optimize. It's such a massive ship. I would need more time to look at it and really think about it, but I love the design, I love the concept. It's pretty neat. But yeah, Polaris is like this. And you still did good damage. See what the nukes took out all this section. And maybe you do win sometimes with your nukes. You took out most of his missiles already. No, you're gonna lose the middle right here. The Polaris is just a well-rounded, has too many things on it. It has got missiles, it's got lasers, it's got EMP coming at you. It's got a little of a lot of other things, and that's why the main reason why I showcase against the Polaris. I mean, it has this huge frontal armor right in the front. It's like the stick that makes you have to destroy it before it gets into it. So from a frontal assault, it's pretty nasty. And in-game, you don't just normally fight one Polaris. You normally fight 2 or 3. And that's why I showcase it. This is one of those harder ships if you're playing the in-game. And Zon School, I know you haven't reached that level yet. But if you're facing 3 of these like this, how do you think you'd handle that? Because this is what the game throws at you at higher levels. And you just look at this. Now, this is what I was fighting in Grand Admiral, No Pause Cosmoteer Grand Admiral Engage. And I'm playing it on Grand Admiral where they do 40% more damage, you do 30% less. This is what you have to face. And you can see how fast they just wiped out a ship of normal damage. Imagine it on Grand Admiral with no pause, not pausing the game. Now, that's the type of things that I was facing. So just keep that in mind. All right, let's clear all these out. Let's go to the next ship. Did I just close it? All right, side cannon heavy shields. This is a neat, cute little ship. Not little, it's big. Save this. All fighter, you have some really neat ships. Everybody has neat ships. There's a lot of collaboration going on in our Discord channel, so there's a lot going on. Let's save this ship. Let's take a look at it. 1 meal into the only way to showcase is just face it first on one of your ships, and let's take a look. 6 cannons, disruptors, big shields. See this point defense right here? I guess it's saved. This angle right here stops it from shooting it all the time though. But I guess this angle is to help guard the point defenses, so I see the purpose of it. You do have crew sitting around doing nothing. I actually like the cannon placement better on this one. Yeah, I like the cannon placement on this one so much better than this one. Now this one is higher cost, I believe. This one looks like it has good movement, so a smaller version of it. I like how he took on kind of the same color scheme that I do, which is a straight solid color, red, and then he's got the purple and bluish. Sometimes when you're just designing so many ships, it's so hard to repaint the whole thing again. And I'm not a painter. Alright, that didn't give it a good chance because I believe they're totally in different cost ranges. So, let's face 2 of these versus each other and let's take another peek at this. I'm sure there are things to optimize on this. I don't know if I'll cover it in this video. We're just showcasing ships right now. And it's interesting with those. Why do you have a double door there? I'm trying to look to see why this is like this. It's interesting. Really, the cannon placement, I don't even know to give more. It's a beautiful design because you look at it from the top. They have full range of movement and they don't block each other at all in many angles. So I just have to give mad props to that. That's really cool. I like this neat armor design too. Tail designs. So yeah, neat ship. Neat ship, all fighter. Very neat ship. I like it. Alright, Bloop's only got this one tiny one. Last one they showcased. I don't know if you have another one there, Bloop. If you're in here, please feel free to speak up. I think this is just a tiny... I don't know. Let's save it before it gets fully destroyed. We'll call it unnamed ship right now. What class range is it in? What is this? Where is it? Where did I put it? Here it is. It's in the beginner class. Well, the beginner class, beginning ships. Let's just put this right here. Let's face it versus my starter ship versus very likely Bloop starter ship. I like the boosters and movement on it. Cool amount of shields. But you see right here, if you're going to use shields, excuse me, you need at least one disruptor. Because if you're going to face other ships with it, a disruptor will change the entire outcome. So the only thing you need on this ship, besides point defense, honestly, in the beginning, if you're playing starter ships, point defenses are not as powerful as disruptors. You notice right here in the very beginning of the game, my starter ship has no point defenses because you're not going to be fighting against other ships that have missiles at the very beginning, and 1 point defense is not enough to stop cannons. You need more. So unless you're going to flood your ship with point defenses and waste the credits for that, in the beginning, point defenses are not as effective if you plan to use shields as one disruptor. And you can see right there. I mean, yeah, the fight lasts a long time, but if you're fighting starter ships against starter ships, that's key to remember. So just something to think about. I didn't even state any damage. The armor just always stayed up, so that's something to think about there. So Bloop, if you were trying to make starter ships, think about that. Dr. Mobius's ship. This is his new ship. I don't remember if you guys all remember Dr. Mobius's ship, but this is his new ship he put in Discord. All I can say is I looked at it and I was like, that's neat. Look, it's got movement now. It's got protective movement. He's got shields in the back. It kind of turns funny, but the boosters are well protected, so you're protecting your movement. It's just kind of this neat, really neat, honestly. Here, let's save this ship. What is its cost range? What are we looking at here? For me, I'm going to drink some more water here for a moment. Whoa, what's a 3 million? All right. The only thing to face it against that I give it a good shot. Let's give it at least 2 Polarises and see how it does versus 2. This is okay. First problem. See this right here? No crew. Why? I see you have a lot of dedications, but you literally have a cannon with no crew in it. So, are they reds? No, are they NAEs and the mechanic? Okay, they're mechanics. You don't have enough mechanics dedicated for your cannon. Okay, right here. And I see the problem right there. You're missing a door. One single door. Resave this. 1.1. Try that again. Oops. Still missing now without the 1.1. Did I save it under my ships like an idiot? probably did, didn't I? Yeah, I did. Hunter Mobius. Hunter Mobius. Hunter Mobius 1.1. Okay. Let's try this again. Alright, now we're crewed. I don't see any of the cannons not crewed. See this right here? Because of the cannon placement, some of them, see right here? They can't fire. See, it's only firing one. So something to think about. Now your left flank just got demolished. Right flank, left flank, I don't know, my left, somebody else's right. Not a fair assessment. Okay. Let's do one. More than double the cost. Can you handle one versus one? Like the armor. See your point defenses having a little bit of issues. But this is kind of an interesting concept. The stepladder point defenses? I've never seen anything like that. It might actually be working. At least for this section. Now they're still ripping through the front. And you just lost your middle. So, these point defenses either need to be moved up and more on a straight line, because you see the stagger approach, it's working in some aspect for here, but your cannons are the bigger target. So you're either going to move your point defenses a little bit more up and have more of them, because in a 1v1 at a 300 million range, you should be able to beat this ship. At 2 million, you should be able to beat a Polaris. So you're gonna need to make some major changes there. It is a neat concept there, Dr. Mobius? Dr. Mobius? Yeah, Dr. Mobius. But you see this right here? This is a weak point and a pain point. You can see right here, first cannon. It's gonna go for this first cannon. And it's gonna take this one out. And then once you have an open hole here, the rest of the ship is exposed. So these point defenses are too far behind. They should be moved up. But other than that, I like the boosters in the back. I like they have all this extra storage. The lasers are pretty neat. See how the lasers are shooting into each other? You might want to fix just the way they have placed this ones to be a little bit more. So it's kind of like these are useless. These are kind of useless. These are useless too because of the angle. Not totally useless, depends on how you're getting shot at. But you might want to fix your lasers as well. Now your missiles, you see how you have no dedications? You literally have almost 3 stacks of missiles here. They're not firing all the time. So you're going to want to add dedications to those missiles. This one's doing semi-okay, but this one, not always firing. And you did actually beat a Polaris. You did stay in heavy damage though. So this is how I was expecting it to perform the first time, at least. But there are some issues. You see right here, the cannons. This cannon can't fire. This cannon can. This cannon, depending on the angle, see how this cannon's? It's not firing all the time. So the angles of your cannons do matter. You might want to think of a few dedications and other things. Anyways, cool ship, Dr. Mobius. Thanks for sharing. Let's go. I think we've done all those ones. We got this massive, massive, massive amount of folders of HOSIP. Let's cover what we can. Let's start with these ones. All right. Clear everything off. HOSIP's got a huge variety of ships, so much so that he could probably even build his own faction on them. Holy molies. I don't even believe that's the first version. I don't know. He has so many ships and so many different channels at the moment. I had to separate him out in folders and what order he would place them in. But look at this. This is a ship anybody should be proud of to build and make, because that's kind of a neat ship. Let's put this one in here under new. Put it under Bishop. HOSIP, I know you're in a different time zone. You may not even be on right now. But you have a ton of ships. And they're really cool, and I like them. Alright. 947,000. I don't even know how this does, but just gonna compare it. Throw it at something. See how it does. Just looking at it, I should make this. I mean, look at this. Now, you see this armor right there? You probably want to fix just that. And you see right here, you see how they're shooting each other? But the concept and the idea is really cool looking. I like it. They're not always, but you see how they're only shooting one? You see how this one's shooting into the next one? This either needs to move a tile up or something. Because you're here, you have a lot of laser shots hitting armor. Sorry, I wasn't looking at the whole ship, but I was just looking at that. Now, and honestly, just looking how everything's placed, my money was on HOSIP ships to win. Because we haven't even got close to doing all this damage. He's still got 4 cannons constantly firing. He still has these back lasers. Like, energy distribution is great. It's just a little tiny bit of positioning. Move this up one, maybe move it back one, or however it is. But you see, whatever angles you're shooting at, there's a lot of shots, especially this one back here, where both laser shots, or at least even one, see how both of them are shot into nothing. So they're wasted shots. It's at that point where you don't even need that back one if it's missing that many shots. So it's kind of almost a waste. Unless you move it one forward or something, and then you have to move the armor a little bit. So something to think about on that one. Alright. I know you made tons of versions of this, and maybe you already fixed it. So let's look at the next bishop. I'm interested to look at the next one. Alright, Bishop PT. Ton more point defenses. Hasn't fixed that laser issue that I can tell. I love the booster placement though. Armor placement is just... it's a whole other section. Like, he can lose all this, it doesn't matter. The whole rest of the ship back here is all the damage. Pretty neat. Back armor is kind of lacking though. Like, all you need is just one ship to come over here and flank you. Everything, side armor, front armor is great, but back armor is lacking. And when I say about back armor, like, literally you come over here and I just take over here, and if I were to just do like, I'm sure even if I did something like this, do 4, right? Because the game throws a whole bunch of ships at you. You throw a whole bunch of these little tiny ships. If one of these ships makes it behind, you're kind of in big trouble. Or you could be in big trouble if they flank, right? But you see how Ship has great turning ability because of all the engine placement, so he doesn't expose his back long enough. But right here is a big open space of, if I get behind him, he's in big trouble. But you see how much movement is? With the movement ability and control, he is well protected. But this still is a concern if you just get one ship. So let's say we take those ships out, right? Let's give a different type of ships. Let's do these ones. These ones are meant to be really bad, mean harassers. And you do this. These ones, if one ship gets behind, which one did? I know he's trying to, the AI is trying to guard itself, but see, look at this. One damaging ship behind, and he's not fully behind, but they start ripping up your engines. But I guess how he has it placed, if one ship's back there long enough. But look at the movement. I would just add a tiny bit more protection somehow there, and you won't even lose engines because the movement. 4 engines like this is just beautifully placed engines. I'm complimenting so much because it's something. There's an idea that I love the design, and I really wanna hit on that. All right, let's come over here. Let's clear everything off. Let's move to another one of these. Really, in Discord, we're looking at all of the ships, and just look at this. This could be its own faction in its own. All of the ships and everything. And look at this. It's the first time I'm looking at this, but when I saw it in Discord, just the picture alone, I was like, wow, look at this. What do you call this? Tripod? I don't. Beautiful. And I'm sure it performs just as beautiful too. What is this? Yeah, even in the same cost range, and I'm speechless. Just speechless. If I face this in game, I'd look at it and I'd be inspired by looking at it. I mean, just look. I haven't even looked at the insides yet. Look at this. If this doesn't inspire you to build, I don't know what does. And cost alone, it's not even really cost that much, but it's kind of just. It's got great movement. It's got. Honestly, it's picking off this other ship just because the lasers are in the back, right? It's not really picking off the ship, but I mean. It even has space for cargo. That's not a fair representation here. No. Here, I want to face it versus a nuke ship. How does this work? Will these shields stand up against all those nukes? That's the question. Yeah, it could dodge it because of movement. This has so much. They only got the first barrage, and then see how this regenerates the shield back up for the next barrage. See if all these nukes actually miss again. That's a neat ship. I like it. I don't even have any suggestions at the current moment in time, just looking at it. It's literally sectioned off of each one. That's pretty neat. Cute and neat at the same time. And effective. Alright. He has another one. let's just face 2. I mean, this almost looks... let's just say this is version 2, because I don't know which one's which. And let's face version 2 versus itself. I think it's armor placement in the front. Yeah, armor placement in the front's a little different. I think the big shields are gonna last between each other for too long. So frontal assault, it's kind of hard on the ship. Obviously it can expose on the side if you hit it with missiles and stuff like that. But it's just a concept alone, right? It's kind of neat. Yeah, I don't have words on what I would change on that. That's just neat. All right, helping others. Hold on, this is the one that Zon's cool. Okay, hold on. This is the one that, or he gave you that version, and that's the armor right there. This is where I said to change the armor. Okay. So he gave you that version. He's helping you out build that. We'll leave that as is. I think we already touched that one. There's all the different versions of the Bishop. Pasted in multiple different channels. I think this is another. Oh, this is the one without the armor. Those armor things. I actually want to see how that does. Hold on. How does a version 1 without this armor handle versus a version 1 with point defenses or whatever it is? Because the extra armor right there, and now they have free access to shoot out. See aesthetically? They shooting better, but this one right here, see how it's still shooting the other one? And even this one sometimes shoots that one. But you see without the armor, it's technically doing a little bit better. Because you don't have this armor issue where lasers are hitting sometimes on the armor. And this one has free movement. See, when the ship moves, it can still angle and can still shoot all these other angles that you block yourself off with this armor. So that's neat. I know he has a whole bunch more bishops. What was Bishop version 2? He's got a lot of different bishops. Booster placements. Really nice to design. Alright. I know we haven't got to the newest ones. Let's go look at all these tiny. He has this whole subset of ships for tiny. Let's clear everything off. Let's just load them all in. Or at least load in a couple of them. Or at least the 2 bombardiers. That's a nuke ship. This is another nuke ship. What is the cost on this thing? I don't know. This is just a tiny little... What is the cost to make one of these tiny little ships? 50. That's even cheaper than a starter ship. Look at this. It's cheap little ship. All right, 310,000. Let's face it versus this one right here, Nukem. More combat design. He's got these shields. And because they're dispersed, they'll hit from different angles. Nukem still wins because of this more angle design. So compact, but highly explosive. So the idea is cool, but easier to go boom. Much easier to go boom. Alright. Cheap cannon ship? Save. Cheap cannon ship. I'm interested to see how much a cheap cannon ship is. 130,000. Closer to the same cost-ish. I think the cheap cannon ship would win. Just looking at it. Yep, cheap cannon ship definitely will win. That's an interesting booster placement. I never even thought of doing something like that. Look at that. So this would be an in-game ship. I could see this as an in-game default ship. And this would be a massively hard to face in an in-game ship at the same level. That is a pretty nice design. And nasty at the same time. I'm actually interested. Take the cheap China ship. You come over here. I believe it's in built-in ships. Monolith combat. I think it's a tri-cannon. What is it called? I don't remember the cost. It's quad. A quad would be very close to. Quad still is cheaper, but is the quad a ramming ship? I don't think the quad is a ramming ship. That's the only problem this ship would have, is you face it versus a ramming ship. Are these small cannons? They are small cannons. I'm actually interested right here. Instead of a quad, where's that small one? Where's the small ramming ship? Can't remember the name. Is it Trenin? I don't remember the name. Might be this one. Is this a ramming ship? Yeah, 3 cannon ramming. But because you have good move, look at the ship has good movement. You see the ramming ship right here? It can cause you just a few, maybe tiny issues, or maybe because of movement on this other ship. See right there? Ramming ship. This is an in-game ship, and that's exactly how it flies. It literally tries to ram you. And so this ramming ship is a pain. You fight this ship on Grand Admiral, very painful ship to face. Alright, move on to another ship. A cheap ion ship. Put this in here. How much is the cheap ion ship? They're almost the same cost. One has more crew than the other. Will the ion ship beat the cheap cannon ship? I like this double shield thing. And it works. Look at that. It works. I still don't understand how it's working, but it's working. Look at this. If the cheap ion ship wins, I would actually be shocked. Because I would expect the cheap cannon ship to win. Okay, good. The cheap cannon ship, just because the firepower alone on this thing. That's a cool ship. Alright. Cheap railgun ship. I don't even know if I saved it right, but cheap railgun ship. You can put the double shield idea on this one. Again, really neat design, but your cheap cannon ship is definitely a powerhouse to win. That's neat. Alright. Let's go to deck railgun ship. Let's start upgrading. All I know is that cheap cannon ship, the ship I think I want to use in my game. definitely not in the same cost range. This one's got a deck cannon and it's got 2 rail guns. Alright. That's just cool, neat. Hold on. Deck railgun. What is that? 300,000? Not 300,000, but kind of close. Let's get a cheap-ish one. Still not a fair representation, but I think this one will win. My money's on the deck railgun. Oh, he has no way to take out shields-ish, but he still could win. I think this will still win. All I need is armor to protect the boosters and everything, and this would be a very interesting ship to fight. Alright, pure laser ship will win, but this one is cost more. Still, a neat design. He just needs disruptors or something on there. If you could take out my shields, this other ship would have won. But that doesn't mean he only has one version, because he has multiple versions of this. It just kind of upgrades itself. New ship number 7. I think we even came up with a name. I don't even remember what the name is. Octopult? Octopult? Octopus? Then we got... We had to add another command deck in to make it bigger. We add another command deck in. When you have this many on it, I guarantee this ship's gonna win. I don't even remember the cost. Yeah, you were in the 500,000 plus. So you would expect it to definitely be able to win. Maybe? Still missing disruptors or something. Some kind of way to take out shields. That's the only thing stopping the railguns and the deck cannons from doing massive amount of damage. More than it already is. Some way to take out shields. Even one EMP missile or disruptors would make this ship even more nasty. My throat's starting to give me in. I know I haven't covered it in the newest ones, but I do want to at least cover this. Maybe we'll cover the newest ones a little bit later. Octopult. There's the name. We were just like, okay, just put 8 railguns in it and now you can call it Octopult or whatever. It's only on the 475,000 range? Yeah, I would totally expect it to win against other things in the 475,000 range. Just face it versus this one. Now, only the AI controlled it better. It could literally do so much more than what it already. I kind of want to just fly it and see how a rail fan of this thing. Look at this. This is like a cheap rail fan. I'm pretty sure if you were controlling this ship, you could cut this other ship in half. Let's do that. Let's get rid of this one. Let's repair this one. Let's come over here. Let's put an Octopult ship. Let's control it. Let's come over here, face this ship right here. Let's target this and this. And then do real fan this way, real fan this way. Why are you firing at will? These all need to be... change to fire target. There we go. It has no reverse thrust, which it kind of needs. It needs a reverse thrust. We need a bigger berth. It needs reverse thrust to be a real fan. So not as effective without reverse thrust. But I love the idea. Alright, he has another one. What is this? What is this? I don't know. Face inverse each other. Octopult versus unnamed. I think it's armor placement. This has got more spiky, pointy edges. No, they kind of look similar. This one's got shields all around. 1, 2, 3, 4 shields. I think this one has more shields. Is that what it is? No? Maybe just crew utilization? You could do so much with this ship. It just needs reverse thrust. For a railgun ship, it needs some way to go backwards. In my personal opinion. Now, obviously, there was another ship that somebody else made that had no reverse thrust, but he had tractor beams on it, so you could flip another ship around. And then he had the pushing power for it. So many ships. Let's save these ones for later. My voice is gonna give out me, and I just wanted to showcase all the things going on in our Discord channel. Thank you all for coming and watching and sticking around with me for this time. Sorry for any coughing or my voice is all messed up because I'm still recovering from being sick. If you enjoy this content, please feel free to smash the like button. Helps me out a lot, helps out the channel, helps people to get notified, and brings in more audience so that they can see it. If you want to, or if you like this content, please feel free to leave me a comment down below and tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. It helps me out as well. I take all feedback and be able to use it so that we can create better content for everybody. If you want to subscribe, please feel free to subscribe and get notified. If you don't want to subscribe, that's okay as well. Come back once a week, once a month, or come back daily, because currently I am live streaming daily and there'll be new content almost every single day. But again, thank you all for being here. Thank you for supporting me, and you all have a wonderful rest of your day.